Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am absolutely desperate to have a general election. I want to see a government which actually halts the privatisation of the National Health Service, which properly funds our public services, which stops the wealth of this country being squirreled away in tax havens in the Caribbean. I want to see a government that cares about the majority of the people in this country and not just about the very wealthy. But that is not why the Prime Minister is calling for a general election. The Prime Minister is not calling for a general election so that we can have a Labour government. The Prime Minister is calling for a general election so that when and if we were to vote for it, he would be in sole control of what happened in this country, and there would be no Parliament here to hold him to account when we leave with a no-deal Brexit. Now, in my constituency of Ipswich, more than 50% of the voters who voted in the referendum voted to leave. It wasn't very much more than 50%, but it was more than 50%. I would not vote for a straight vote to revoke Article 50 because I think that would be wrong. After there has been a referendum and people have voted, albeit by a narrow margin, to leave the European Union, I think it would be entirely wrong for this House to then simply go against those wishes. I want to see a viable deal that would not destroy the economy of this country being agreed by this Parliament so that when we have a second vote, when we have a people's vote or a second referendum or whatever you want to call it, which I think we have to have if we're going to bring the country back together again, I want there to be a viable choice. I do not believe that a no-deal Brexit is a viable choice. I think a no-deal Brexit is a suicide note. And if anybody on the opposite benches thinks that as passengers in a speeding car, speeding towards a cliff edge, we are going to take the option of jumping out just before you reach the cliff edge, then you've got another thing coming. Yes, we will have a general election. You will not survive for very much longer because you do not have an overall majority. But we are not going to have that general election while there is the danger of a no-deal Brexit.